This Moss, you see by the title. I'm gonna go ahead and break down the exaltation, detriment, and the fall of a planet and what this means for that planet. The exaltation is where the energy fulfills its best um, ambitions. It has the energy. What doesn't really have it, it's just the influences that are coming together to generate this energy are malleable and beneficial, especially to the benefic planets. That's why I'm doing Jupiter and Venus entering into Gemini. They've been there for a second, but it's still early to catch it. So the exaltation, like I said, is where a planet it can go, but it can also burn out. Not crash and burn, but we know how it is. You know what I'm saying? When you're working, making sure a concert, a party is set up right, and then when the party actually gets there, you know what I'm saying, you're just vibing, observing, grateful in the experiences that you had working, or even being a part of the party and just showing up and doing that. That's what the exaltation of a planet is, you know what I'm saying? It's getting in while it's good. It's real rapid and quick, but sometimes it can be a longevity to it, depending upon the placement and the planet. You know what I'm saying? If it were Taurus exalted, as in the moon right now, it wouldn't really burn out that quickly. But you could tell like the rationality or certain energies of that planet and its exaltation would be hindered or suffer a little bit. Now, for detriment, this is where a planet works, that it goes to work. It gains our experiences. We don't like to go to work, but we gain experiences with the outside world and the people, places, and things and different perspectives outside of our comfort zone for a collective task. Not even knowingly, like everyone's getting money, but everyone has their reasons for why they're at the job. Some people, it's their character, it's their life, it's their 10th house career, which is one of the exaltations of the planets Jupiter that I'm going to get into. And then for others, it is, you know what I'm saying, just something on the side, just something to get their name out there, something to get some wind beneath their wings. Speaking of wings, since we got two people that are early in the chat, we get to see the special detail. Look, I got this tattoo today. Hey, look at this. I got the Hermes wings, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm fast as fuck, boy. You know what I'm saying? Jupiter, you know what I'm saying? This mercurial energy. We got a mercurial stellium with Venus and the sun and things like that. So, you know what I'm saying? We went ahead and did that for sure, for sure. Everyone, you know what I'm saying? Y'all's the first to peep it. But yeah, so that's detriment where the planet has to work its hardest. It gains more wisdom and enlightenment based off the situations, the placements that it's going to, even on the esoteric. I'm feeling phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Just being fluid, being malleable to the Gemini perspectives and energies. Thank you for asking, Rebecca. Thank you so much. You know what I'm saying? How am I? We are still building that puzzle together. But thank you, Towns. And the fall is where a planet is asleep at. It's where it rests its head at. It's where it's not really more so observing. It's more so in a meditative state, being retrospective and absorbing the energy that is in and slumber and takes this opportunity. It wants to take the opportunities to not participate with that energies. You know what I'm saying? It ain't opposing it and it ain't being forced to work out this area, but it's there, so it's going to be asleep. And that's the breakdown. That's the breakdown for the exaltation, the detriment, and the fall. When I say those meanings or reasons. So today, Jupiter is in Gemini and Venus is in Gemini. Live from Legoland. Hey, shout out to you, you know what I'm saying? My babies, my children, my sons, my spring flowers, they're on vacation. And my son loves watching Ryan's World, the Legoland. That's his favorite episode. If you know, you know what I'm saying? I've been to Legoland myself too. It's a very nice place. Hey, I wish I could remember it, like specific details for you to go throughout Legoland, go to different, but I'm sure you figure it out on your own. They got a map and everything else there. But yeah, see, look, we talk about Legoland, and people ask me how I'm feeling today. We got just Jupiter, Gemini, Sun, Gemini, Venus, Gemini, Mercury soon to go into Gemini, coming out of Taurus real soon, and then Mars gonna go into Taurus. So yeah, I'm talking about the houses that you have Gemini in, and we're going to be utilizing the as the zodiac signs themselves have their exaltations and their detriments and their falls, places they do excellent at, places they thrive, places they gain wisdom and do chores, places they're lazy and sleep. This the energy as it goes throughout the houses. So for just jump straight into it. If you have, well, let me talk about Jupiter and Gemini and what these placements are. Jupiter in Gemini is the more information that you receive, the more you can expand your vocal reach. You know what I'm saying? Gemini's about the environment and people in its social circle. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it likes to uh it should take the advice of Virgo and sometimes observe rather than you're in a new place, so you're just gonna sprinkle around ideas. And then different social groups, people have their groups in public. Some different public groups catch on to this energy, and then that's how rumors start. And there's always some Gemini, and then the Gemini gonna be two-sided and see the victim side and see the villain side, and it's either heads or tails. That's what you're gonna get. So Jupiter Gemini, we're questioning our beliefs, adding morals and meanings and reasonings to the adding morals and information, adding morals, meanings, and philosophical points of view to our ideas that we have. Sometimes we have ideas and then you pertain to God. Is this you telling me? Is this coincidence? Is this synchronicity? Is this is like Jupiter and Gemini look for the meanings and reasonings in your day-to-day things that you can expand upon, some territory that you don't even know that you're expanded in, right? And Venus and Gemini is having a greater appreciation and value for other people's ideas, because nowadays don't nobody give a fuck about other people's ideas. But you see within hip hop, within the battles, within the schemes, the steam, the tea, however you want to address it, you see a lot of, you know what I'm saying, opinions, and people are re-questioning, okay, what is hip hop? What do we feel about hip hop? What do we feel about lyrics? What do we feel about the meanings and reasons behind the lyrics? Are you doing do you have receipts? That's been a big thing in this Kendrick and Drake. Do you have receipts? If that's not Jupiter and Gemini, we gonna give you meanings and reasonings and credibility to your meanings and your attacks via the receipts, the facts, the validations, and the information, right? Gen Z, this dude just listing in here, these folks just listing shit. I don't know. But so we got Jupiter and Gemini, and that's Venus, and having relatability and the relative concept and idea to people's ideas, and being relatable to different ideas, and accepting the Gemini, the two sides, appreciating it for what it is, sometimes behind closed doors or out in the broad daylight. Like it's like Scorpio almost, but just in the opposite way of being light and bubbly, to where it's like you have somebody that's all love and light and they manipulate the shit out your ass like a demon playing nice or some shit. Not to get into spookism, but we're just talking about, like, for an example. And then we got, you know what I'm saying, Scorpios are more manipulative with their emotions. They're like, you want to come into my space, then this, I might make sure I have some control and not just all intuitive like the moon, like Cancer. Those are the clouds I was trying to get for real. So we still got Jupiter there. Appreciate you all that are watching, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting to the information. So if you have Gemini in the first house, Jupiter, the exaltations I was speaking on, Jupiter is exalted in the 4th house in Cancer. And it is in detriment and fall in the what house is it? Hold on, I have it. It's exalted in the 4th house, and it is in fall in the opposition. So a planet's fall is always going to be the opposite of its exaltation. So Jupiter falls in the 10th house of career, your professional life, your career, your public life, your public image, how your name carries, your reputation, and things of that nature. It falls here. If I'm explaining it, I'm gonna break it down. It falls here due to your career and your public image. Sometimes calls for sacrificing. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be as honest with your religious views. That's why the whole separation of church and state. But now with this Jupiter Gemini alignment, with Jupiter being detriment, and this detriment, then you see where, in the fall, then you see where these things are coming back together within the government and our system, you know what I'm saying, the capitalism system and things of that nature, and public image, especially on, we went through that phase when everyone was already being banned from their Twitters, from their Twitter fingers. Drake, Kevin Hart, excuse me if I don't really pay attention to all the tea, but I'm aware enough. So like Drake and his baby mama, his kids, Kevin Hart, the cheating, Donald Trump with the convictions, Donald Trump with the convictions. Donald Trump with the convictions. Anybody ever think he was gonna catch that charge because he was running for president? I bet he didn't even. Hold on, look, he's sitting low. That took me like 2 centimeters up. He didn't even know. For real. But separate church from state. Separate meanings and reasons. Like, I bet if there was someone on the CSI on the case, back in the day, that would have been a conspiracy. They would have swept it under the rug. But somebody had a meaning. Somebody had a moral. Somebody had the higher fortitude within education to know, like, hey, this system right here, this ain't right. Behind the whole thing, everyone storming the Capitol. Not to get off on some esoteric rant. From Texas. Oh, shout you in Texas. I've been to El Paso. We have short commercial breaks where I address the chat. You know what I'm saying? I ain't worried about being distracted. Like, my North Node is in Scorpio, so I'm working on. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this thing. South Node in Taurus in the 9th house. You know what I'm saying? I had previous experiences being comfortable with hoarding information and philosophical points of views in this little bubble. But I just made this office today with my hookah and my drinking thing right there. So moving on the job, you know what I'm saying? Scorpio in the 3rd house, being deep and intentional within my environment with the people, places, and things directly in front of me. So shout out to Texas, shout out to Texas. Man, y'all stay safe. That wind is strong out there. Weather bipolar than the motherfucker out there. I'm like this candle and this stage because I'm having so much fun. Thank y'all for it. Shout out y'all in the chat. I'm having so much fun. Sometimes some content creators I don't got no edits. So sometimes they're just like, talk real slow so you understand the information. And I'm like, this is how y'all get 2 hours to an hour and a half streams. Because say time is money. But that's still playing into the capitalism. Time ain't fucking money. The fuck? Time ain't no fucking money. Attention is the motherfucking money. Attention is what you're paying beyond bartering system. How you go from a bartering system to let's put this value on this money and say you need this money. And it's not even just that we're gonna say you need this money. It's the fact that you gonna embed the dollar bill. Side tangent right now for all of you that joining. Read the title in the description and you understand. Like, for real, we just gonna keep it. We keep it. You know what I'm saying? All the energy, the vibes, for real. Jupiter is in Gemini, Sun's in Gemini. And you gonna see 2 sides, 2 different ideas at the same time. Energy vibe. I'm a Virgo ascendant. This is a squaring energy. We still gonna figure this the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Doing a quick bath, you know what I'm saying? Bath for everyone in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Have a little commercial break with the energy, cleanse the vibes out, like some incense. I have tipped it to get to my sound bowl, which is over there, but we're gonna grab that in a second though. But how can I get better understanding with this astrology? Books? Perhaps? No. I mean, try it. I can only give you the best advice from what worked for me. I like to think, I'm open-minded as an Aquarius moon, but also I'm fixated on my way of thinking. You get what I'm saying? Well, go ahead, click that subscribe and like button. See, that's how you know. Hey, real quick, y'all see that clip of Kai Kennett and Drewski when they was doing those interviews, and Kai was he was flirting with the AI. The NPC, non-playable character. That shit was real, you know what I'm saying? This how you know I'm not a non-NPC. I ain't say no likes or comments. I value that shit, but not enough to like include it in there. I'm gonna keep the video about what the video is about. Even if I'm off subject, it's still pertaining to the video. You know what I'm saying? Because we had a deep cleanse. Like I said, Sun Gemini. Scattered brain, airheaded energy. So this is trying to my moon already. Shout out for the light. But yeah. Centered shields. Hey, everyone else is in the chat. Tag him on this. Tag Centered Shields if he's still watching, if he rejoins. But the best way to do astrology is do shadow work. Start with your big 3, your sun, the moon, ascendant. The way you react and your personality. Well, for me, learning the planets made it simpler for me, because then once you learn the planets, then everything else falls into place. The houses fall from the influence of the planet, and then the houses are your areas in life. Study those, but study the planets first, but then study the houses, the areas of life. You know what I'm saying? And this is simple. That part is simple because you think of the areas in life that are most important to you. If you have trauma from sexuality, eighth house, start there. Okay, the eighth house is ruled by this zodiac sign. Okay, so this is why the Scorpio archetype is similar to the eighth house archetype. All right, boom. And then once you master all that, I wouldn't look into alignments until later on down the line. Once you master that, master yourself. Knowing thyself is like peeling back layers, just through the concept of principles and virtues and things of that nature. But book me for a reading down below. Book me for a reading if you're interested. But anyways. Hey, Chunky! That's my brother. I think he's outside. But shit. Yeah, so if you got Jupiter and Gemini in the first house, let's get back to these houses and breaking down this astrology transits for y'all that joining. So Jupiter in the first house. Oh, thank you. Swing through. Hey, I'm glad you got the message. Swing through. I'll do some readings. But for me, I overwhelmed myself with information, and then I started putting the pieces together like a puzzle. I overwhelmed myself. I was like, okay, boom, this is trining this, but I wasn't even correlating to, okay, if today is the moon's in this sign, then tomorrow the moon's in that sign, so that's the influence of the day. When I should have been paying attention to that, I was looking at alignments and other shit, like the moon trining Pluto in Aquarius, and I was like, huh? How Pluto and the moon be trining? But really, it's just angles. And then once you get the angles, then you get the names. And the trine, and here's one that's gonna help you really out this will puzzle into everything else and you understand. Because you can learn the information, but then how it impacts you is what you're looking at. So a trine is like a triangle. It's a perfect slice of pizza. It's perfect. It makes you happy. It's when the moon is trining Pluto in Aquarius is two air signs, so they're trining. So this works out as harmonious energies. They're trining, right? They're in the same element. It doesn't matter about the modality. They're trining. And also it matters the planets that are trining. So Moon and Pluto intense transformations in your emotions. So it's a gift, but everything has two sides. And then boom, a square 90-degree angle. If you're going down and then you're going in another direction, this is where things that people need to learn. When the sign is squaring another sign, like say all cardinal signs, Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, they square. All fixed signs, Aquarius, Taurus, Gemini, they square. All mutable signs, they square. So this isn't disharmony, it's just an opportunity to learn and better, you know what I'm saying, learn yourself. And then sextiles, if you hear anyone say sextile, it's an opportunity. You can take an opportunity to select. Sextile is, you have Aries, then you have Pisces. Pisces comes at the ending / beginning of Aries season, the ending of winter, and then you have Aquarius before Pisces. So when it goes like this, that's an opportunity to skip through, having to go through the middleman. And that's a whole nother video with the Masons and go through the Father, but by me, Jesus Christ energy. But it's the sextile. That's going to always be an opportunity. So you think about it backwards. Yes, Aries with sextile Gemini. Yes, Gemini with sextile Leo. Skipping Cancer. Yes, Leo with sextile Libra. Skipping the middleman. You know what I'm saying? And then in conjunctions is when there's a sign in the middle of, like, say for instance, Virgo in conjunction Aquarius, because Aquarius is right next to Pisces. So it's like guilty by association. You know what I mean? And then just stuff like that. All right, everyone. Hey, shout out and share the video, like, comment, Go let your friends know. We're still on the first house of this video. I'll still re-explain the exaltation and detriment and fall of the planets throughout this video. So if you have Jupiter and Gemini, if you have Gemini in the first house, Jupiter and Venus is there currently. So you're going to be expanding on the way you communicate. It's going to be acting like the 10th house because it's Capricorn and it's practical and it makes sense and it's grounded, but it's airheaded. So it's going to have its way of thinking and communicating within this environment. And you know those people that don't really go to college, but they stay in a small town, they work and they develop the reputation. That is Jupiter and Gemini in the first house. It's your personal experiences. It's your personal motivations and your motives, because it's Aries. It's your personal way of initiating. The first house there was your physical appearance, your body, your perspectives, your personality. So this is how all things relating to Jupiter and Gemini, expanding on your beliefs via your thoughts and ideas and questioning these things about that. And so this is going to be supported by the 4th house, Jupiter's exaltation. Jupiter is exalted in the 4th house. So what is exalted here, this means that your roots, you have strength in your roots. You have strength in your traditions. And you are nurturing, in private spaces. So your meanings and reasonings and your religion and your philosophical points of views from your home, from your family, the way you were raised, that's going to be the energy that you are going to use Mars-like energy, or like I said, Jupiter energy, to expand, question, add meanings and reasonings to the things that you are overstanding, because we're going to say overstanding because Jupiter is Zeus on the clouds, overstanding, right? So you're going to be using your roots and your foundations that you're connected to have a higher education on how to communicate your personal beliefs and your personal moral systems and your personal perspective, because your personality is, attitude reflects leadership. So that same quote can be said for your personality. You are a person, an individual, your personality, and this is in the first house. This is your ascendant. Ascendant is the aura that you give off. This is the astrological influence of your aura that you give off, right? And so you're going to be looking to the 10th house, the fall of Jupiter, to where you might have issues relating yourself, your personal experiences, just the way your energy rubs off on all your energy that you receive from other people, right? So you need to connect with your inner. You're going to use that 10th house of status career to connect with your inner wisdom, your inner expectations, so that you aren't just followed around by a crowd of yes men. It's going to be a crowd of parasites during this time period with Jupiter in the 10th, with Jupiter in the fall in the 10th house, right? So you're using the 10th house to, make sure you uphold your ethics and morals in the face, because if you stand for nothing, you'll fall from anything, especially in the first house. And that's just the 10th house is just a broader perspective of that, for real. The 10th house is just a broad perspective of that. And so you got Jupiter in detriment in the 3rd house of Gemini. Jupiter in detriment in the 3rd house. And so here is gaining the wisdom. And Jupiter is in detriment is in its detriment space right now. So pretty much every house you have this in is going to feel like a detriment at some time point. So despite setbacks in education, pursue your lifelong through online self-studying and your pathway to spirituality, striving to communicate with clarity and authenticity. Hold on. Hey, this hookah starting to hit. I ain't gonna cap. The hookah kicking in. It feeling right. Yeah, despite education setbacks, like Jupiter is about travel. And so not to say not just, I feel like not just is like validating what everyone's thinking, but we're gonna do some manifesting, and we're not using that witchcraft. You know what I'm saying? We're saying that. So traveling on some spirituality tip. If you're not into spirituality, but you're into astrology, traveling is everything that is external is of something that is internal, right? Esoterically. So this speaker, this JBL charge for, I ain't getting paid to promote, but hey, like I said, Jupiter and Gemini, we ain't separate the means and reasons. Shout out JBL charge for. People be like, they ain't paying me, so I ain't doing it. I don't give a fuck if they pay me or not. I got 400 loyal, strong subscribers. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna just play it like it's some numbers. I only got 400 subscribers. 400 people clicked and subscribed and committed to possibly getting some notifications from me. You know what I'm saying? Tapping in. But yeah, getting online, and your self studying. You can do certificates online. You can get your certs on the laptop. Everything's through the phone now. So you're traveling mentally when you're on Instagram and TikTok and everything. What Kodak Black said, when you're on them Instagrams, you are traveling for real. And you're moving up and beyond and things of that nature. So you're expanding your mind. You're astral traveling. You're projecting that third eye, that first eye vision, a dream, and imagination that is expanding. You're projecting it outwardly. So you're not just getting lost in your own delusion. Like this is when you imagine in your third eye chakra and you're enlightening things, and then the energy gets too heavy, and so it sinks down below these two eyes, and you see things through the earthly, physical realm. Not even like earthly, but the yang realm. Like that's deep, because the yang realm wouldn't be the yang realm without men. Like it would be earth, but it would still be like yin yang earth type energy. But yeah, so you got the yang version of that. So you're projecting Jupiter expanding on that. So your daily routines and your community. So where you place yourself, where you place your personal experiences to gain your personality, you know what I'm saying? You're being vulnerable. And at this point, that's key with the detriment to Jupiter. You're being vulnerable. So you're going to be utilizing Yo, yo, you hear me now? Do y'all hear me now? Drop a speaker in the comments if you can hear me, please. Drop a speaker in the comments if you can hear me, please. Shake your dread, shake your dread, shake your dread. Shake your dread, shake your dread, shake your dread. All right, we back loud and clear. All right, shout out Orlando of Kano. Shout out Orlando Kano. All right, bet. So we're back. We never left, but we're forward. Jupiter in the third house. So we spoken enough about the detriment already there. So let's jump to the fall. The fall, you need to utilize your 10th house because there are opportunities in your environment that you are passing up. You're passing up opportunities because you can expand and want to experience something. And you know how you get in tunnel vision and somebody says something and you just, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you're fidgeting around while they're talking and they don't have you locked in with your intellect, with your mind because Gemini, they might have two halves, but they're locked in. They got two, there's only two settings, right? But it's a spiritual, you got spiritual, you got esoteric to those two settings, to those two personality of those Gemini twins. You understand me? So yeah, utilizing your 10th house of added meanings and reasonings and having moral system. Pluto's already exited Capricorn. Is this the last retrograde into Capricorn that it's making while it's in 1 degree Aquarius? So they're not going to be transforming that into much more taxes, buildings, their structure systems, their ways to get a job, their ways to use people, your way to be valued, present yourself, present your sources. They're not doing all that no more. So in this fall here, in the 10th house, you know what I'm saying, you need to have supportive, should say Venus. Yeah, that was Venus. You need to make sure you have daily routines in your community that builds to a status. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know when someone leaves the town. So Jupiter in the 4th house. Jupiter, you're already exalted here in this space. So you know it goes from the detriment to the exaltation here. So I have Jupiter in the 4th house. So the roots and home and tradition are things to expand upon, or gather your experiences. So it's like when you going outside of your home, you're still attracting things that are of a homely nature. When you travel abroad, you can make yourself at home and you feel comfort. You're gonna be utilizing the 10th house, although this is a opposition. You know what I'm saying? Because Jupiter falls here and is in opposition to the Cancer house, Cancerian energy. So the 10th house is about public reputation and your status and reputation. But if you're not performing or being used as a vessel for God outside this house, outside of your private life, outside of your traditions, then what use are you? So this fall is telling you to pay attention. This is what grounds you out in the exaltation when you begin to go too far and float away into your experiences. So you're utilizing the 10th house. I'll try to make this 2 lives in one, but I like to break down all the key points. So we're going to finish this exaltation in this fall, and then we're going to jump back to the Venetian exaltation in the 3rd house. So yeah, you're going to be what's that also in the fall? You need to be aware to uphold your ethics and your morality because this is going to be a representation of what is going to be a character in your home, a character in your family, a character in, you know what I'm saying, stepping away from your private life. And you're going to be utilizing your 3rd house in your environment to utilize the wisdoms that you gain through your higher education, that you gain through the home, through the travel. Sometimes, you know, it ain't about going out and searching and the biggest, broadest thing is too many distractions. Sometimes you gotta get to the most specific detail of something that you're looking for, the most specific detail of where you left something behind, and then you travel back into that space. Jupiter in the 5th house. This is the house of love, affairs, entertainment, speculation, children, creativity, parenting, and things that nature, expressing yourself. So Jupiter here, you're expanding your way of communicating and thinking about about I know I was gonna say I was gonna go back into the Venus, but we'll go back to that. So this is where you are expanded on. That means the reason is to think that you're entertained by it. That way you're not just um being entertained for the sake of being entertained, gathering different images without having it to present like in a more relatable fashion. It's kind of like initiating, but you are utilizing teamwork makes the dream work. Other initiates to initiate the idea, or raising your children, or means the reason is in teaching it. You know, like the TikTok parents and things of that nature. You can be utilizing the 10th house to of the fall here to um, wake that energy up to where you can build and expand your status and your reputation off of the things that you're entertained by. That way you can engross yourself in the things that you're entertained by and use that energy rather than letting it use you, using your attention by you sitting on the couch. You're using that energy by sitting it on the couch and allowing it to watch you do it harder and, you know what I'm saying, better than it's doing it. And then in the fourth house, the exaltation, you know, you're exalting that because your traditions, your roots is how you're going to raise your family, how you're going to have some leisure time and be entertained by things that are external that you're learning, while at the same time you're being entertained with that nature. And utilizing the third house, you're traveling and relating your communications in Gemini to things pertaining to your environment. Things that have communicated themselves when you're relating to something and having desire, it relates itself to this external universe before you and things of that nature. So we have, now going back to the third house, Venus and Gemini, relating and compromising for the way you're communicating to yourself and others. Exaltation in the 12th house, you're exploring your hidden talents because there shouldn't be much. How you going to find the hidden gems in your philosophy and points of views of Jupiter if you can't even find them in your environment? If you can't even find the magic in the mundane, if you can't even leave no stone unturned on your sidewalk with the big cinder blocks, you know what I'm saying? How, Brody? And then you got how if you can't even expand it in your own roots, in your own environment. So be sure to pay attention to your financial security through your creativity and your beautiful aesthetics that you have pleasures in your environment and the way you're communicating your aesthetics and describing you, like that Jupiter energy to describe. You have the meanings and reasons inside of you. Now you're conveying that through logic, through facts, through ideas. Venus is detriment in the 8th and 1st house. It's about self-emotion. So you're gaining balance in your environment. You know what I'm saying? I have Scorpio in the 3rd house, so it's all about not being too dry, being too surface level when it comes to communications, feeling like you're smarter than everyone, or you're being understimulated. This comes from understimulation within your 3rd house with Jupiter being here and Venus being here as well understimulated because of restrictions and pushing against the walls and barriers. But it's not like a wall that is a brick wall. It's more like a mutable bubble. You can stretch it, you can stretch it, you can stretch it, but you still feel that friction. But you're not hurting anything. It's not anything too dangerous. You know what I'm saying? The idea. Venus in the 4th house, Venus and Gemini in the 4th house, relating and compromising your way of communicating your thoughts and ideas related to your roots and your traditions, and having different ideas from different perspectives of your family, and going down the family tree, going down the family branches, and you know what I'm saying, taking the travel there through your auntie's cousin's brother that was close to you when you was little type energy. Utilizing that exaltation in the 12th house to have inherent values. And then the detriment for the 3rd house, Venus and detriment in the 3rd house is having question certain beliefs that hinder your relationships. Have certain beliefs that hinder your relationships with yourself and with others, because if you can't trust anybody, Scorpio, 8th house, if you can't forego leaning on somebody instead of being stand up in direct Aries, you know what I'm saying? 1st house. And then Venus is fall. Focus on self-improvement. It falls in the 12th house. So you got Jupiter that yeah, it falls. No. It falls in the sixth house. So your self improvement, creating a budget, and budgeting goes beyond the second house. Budgeting goes all the way furthermore into the third house. Budgeting and having balance and having restrictions with your time and space and energy and people that are in your environment. They know where you stay. Versus, you know what I'm saying, the expansion. So it's the yin and yang, good and bad to everything. So there's those energies pertaining to your roots and things of the nature with Venus being you're utilizing that fall house again in the 12th house, even though it's a trine to that house. I mean, even though it's a trine to that house, 8th house, it's still like how Cancer is mature and Scorpio, you know, saying you're always keeping your hands, keeping the watch over them and things of that nature and those processes. So you're gonna be utilizing creating a budget. You're gonna be utilizing. Um, I'm still going off. This is going off of the astrological houses. So it's not really pertaining to. It's pertaining too much to your house. So stop relying on those notes too much. Stop relying on those notes too much. Bitch is almost dead. I'm about to get some more for the end of the night. With this type of energy. Might do a part two. I think it's just overwhelming doing Jupiter and Venus. We ain't gonna stop. Venus in the did I do the fourth house? Venus in the fourth house. Utilizing the 12th house for your dreams and your imaginations. Venus is exalted here. It's about pleasure of your imaginations and relating your dreams and imaginations. So you don't really have to talk about it. If you have a vision, you can go for it and you can express those feelings, and those feelings develop into a vibe, and that vibe becomes relatable in that fourth house. So that's why you're using your 12th house, your dreams and imagination, and being as delusional as you want with yourself. So, and back up, call up to the fifth house. Venus in the Venus and Gemini in the fifth house. Utilizing your 12th house again, utilizing your subconscious, your dreams and imaginations to have further dreams about the things that you're entertained by. If you can see it, then you can achieve it, and you're manifesting that through it already being in your fifth house. The things that you're entertained by now. You're imagining all the edits the producers could make. You're imagining all the series. You can get on hell. You can get on your dreams and imagination box, aka YouTube, and do a projection, be a critic. You can be a spoiler. You can. There's so many opportunities and avenues that you can take that way. You just gotta take Venus in the eighth and the first house where it falls at more seriously, relating to your others, your intentions, your powers, your gift, your motivations for real. Because where it is also in detriment in no, Venus is well, that's in detriment. That's the wisdom. That's how that you can use it, because it's already asleep in your routines and your habits and patterns. So you're not really gonna be thinking about your habits and routines. You're gonna be separating the two, obviously, for having self-discipline. But you're separating that from you're still being entertained and taking that energy into perspective. I need two. That's the thing. It needs two. This thing takes two coals. For real, in the fifth house, and with the detriment and the fall here, and things of that nature. So in the sixth house, Jupiter in the sixth house, this is a square house. Jupiter and Gemini in the sixth house, you are expanding and questioning your beliefs about, like I said, your delusions, your imagination. You're taking care of your body, and then you see all these facts. See, you go discovering the house about things, and you end up discovering the what you imagine is what the people that made the product that you're participating and looking up in. They're the people that made that and are the authors of that energy as well. So what they imagine, you can imagine for yourself, and that's how it runs wild in your imagination, for real. In the sixth house of your bodily functions and your routines and your habits. So that's how you go hard in that. Being in this fall space, being this asleep, but you're gonna utilize that detriment. I mean, Jupiter is in the Jupiter's falling 10th house. Yeah, Jupiter's detriment in the third house. So utilizing those ideas. See, that's all we was talking about was ideas. Virgo is the how, watch, observe, do, but step by step breaking down the devils in the details. Hey, no, I added extra tape so it canceled. Remember that? I added extra tape so you canceled it.
Lucky. I knew that shit was coming down. I knew it.
Blinds fell. Raggedy ass cheap ass blinds. So then, yeah, you still got Jupiter, and Jupiter is expanding on your thoughts and ideas related to your routine, relating that to others, and you know everything can only be subjective to your bodily function and how you are taking care of yourself and things of that nature, for real, for real. Seventh house. Yeah, sixth house in Venus, you can be utilizing 12th house, the house of dreams and imagination, the exaltation of your dreams and imaginations, how you imagine your summer body and things of that nature. And Jupiter falling in the 10th house, but it still trines the sixth house. You're still going to be utilizing your morals and systems. Morals about your body. This gives me the example of all the gene splices and gene DNA and all the chemicals that they're putting in the food and things of that nature, but also enhances. Speaking of enhancements, BBL Drizzy, BBL Drizzy, BBL Drizzy, BBL Drizzy, ooh, BBL Drizzy, oh, BBL Drizzy. Hey, BBL Drizzy, BBL Drizzy, BBL Drizzy, BBL Drizzy, BBL Drizzy, BBL Drizzy, BBL Drizzle, BBL Drizzy. You know they had the auto tune. I'm out of drink. Ah! So, yeah, Jupiter in the detriment though. In the third house, the square house. Jupiter in detriment, your third house, what we just spoke on. Your environment, doing health routines with people in your environment, being outside, connecting with the community through having small projects with the church, you know what I'm saying, church food runs, or experiments at the high school, being, you know, you could come in and tutor some students, open a new curriculum in the schools and things of that nature. And Venus is in fall here. Venus is asleep here. So you're sleeping on that. So you really got to use that house, like I said, as a weight on your shoulder that you're bearing and you're taking care of and things of that nature. Seventh house, Jupiter in the seventh house. You're expanding on your relative ideas, and this video again is based off on you having a vast understanding of astrology already. So that's why I'm going to speed through some of this energy. So Jupiter, you're expanding on your meanings and reasons towards your beliefs of the relationship that you get in, or the why you exceed and bring balances in. And Saturn is exalted in the seventh house, and Saturn rules the 10th house. So where Jupiter is fall, you still have some help from implementing you know what I'm saying, where you see your public image, where you're expanding your communication and seeing, coming across as, you know what I'm saying, different perspectives. You're planting different eggs in different baskets. So you're utilizing that fall where it's asleep to work that energy up with, you know, your values and the aesthetics that you have placed on your meanings and reasons that you're expanding on. And Jupiter being in detriment of the third house, utilizing your environment to do that. You have people that are like only seasonal friends, and you're learning when to leave them behind in the third house. And then you're having an even longer commitment to make. So you utilize that third house, and you're weeding them out for, do they have the potential by expanding the way that you're communicating based off of your boundaries and your borders and things of that nature. So Venus is in its second space of home, in the space right here, in the seventh house. I mean, correction, in the seventh house. So Venus is at home in the rulership, so you know it's all about compromising your marriages and long contracts. You gotta be able to compromise. That's how they use the Venetian energy to lure you in, the Jesus energy, and then they also church fund run, GoFundMe support, and then you get behind closed doors and you see the business sides of it because those doors open, the ones that you once. In the 10th house, I mean, shoot, hold on, I was just reading down the list. But yeah, Venus in the 7th house. I just did that in Jupiter. Venus, you utilizing your 12th house, your dreams and imaginations and delusions to support the 7th house of your relationships and your long contracts so that you communicate your stipulations that you have, your dreams and your imaginations. Even if it's a delusion, you'll give those people so much runaround and headache, whether during your contract or in a relationship, that even if they weren't as committed, you'll weed them the fuck out. That's basically how I see that, weeding them the fuck out. And same applies. So you got, and then you have Venus in its fall in the 8th, in the 1st house, which is right after the 7th house. This it's in fall, it's in detriment, but it's getting the meanings and reasonings for the death, the shared resources and the death that come from your 7th house. You know what I'm saying? So that you're basically just re-experiencing some energies beforehand because you don't have the experience yet of the 8th house. You have to be in balance. This might signify imbalance if you have it in this house, an imbalance of the yin energy, dreams, imagination, but not just that, but the spookism, the darkness about yourself, expanding in the darkness of how serious, how predatory, or how territorial, or how, you know what I'm saying? Because this shit needs to be talked about, because you have people out here thinking that they're in love and they're really a whole ass stalker, and you have people thinking that they're a whole ass stalker because they make one comment about how beautiful you are, but really they're just spitting game. You see how it's reversed? Do y'all see how it's reversed? Drop some mirrors if you see how it's reversed. Please drop some mirrors down in the chat below if y'all see how much it's reversed. Because I'm not just on YouTube. Y'all my family. Y'all choosing to participate and sit here and watch and listen to this in the background when you're scrolling on YouTube, which I really respect and I appreciate. You know what I'm saying? And y'all trust that I ain't gonna hold no hard feelings, because I see when it drops from 18 to like 5. And because I be on someone's live and I just swipe, you know what I'm saying, just see what else is on YouTube, you know what I'm saying, so I don't, you know what I'm saying, it's cool, it's great content, I don't want to be in here, but also I don't want to, you know, got that microwave attention span, and then I scroll back up and see that's still on that vibe that it's on, and I ain't missed out on too much, but we gonna keep trucking through this motherfucker. Jupiter, we did Venus here, Jupiter through the 8th house, you're gonna be utilizing your 4th house, your exaltation, but the trine though, to transform the shared resources that you have from your roots, from your home and tradition, to expand on the higher education and thought forms of that 4th house and things of that nature, have deeper transformations, why you go through the transformation that you go through, and why you inherited the philosophical points of views and the beliefs, or the esoteric karma, or just any business-minded energy in the 8th house shared resource, whether that be like divorce or lawsuits through a divorce or long-term divorce and things of that nature. Let me step away. I'm gonna step right back. I'm gonna go get some water. That's what clouds look like, baby. Jupiter in the 8th house. Jupiter in the 8th house. You're expanding and on your communications and on the way you communicate and think about your debt and your shared resources. Like I said, divorces and things of that nature. So you're utilizing that 4th house, utilizing that 10th house to add morals. Even though it's a business, you still have the public eye on you. When those celebrities go through those public divorces and things of that nature, this is the 8th house generated things, especially Jupiter in the 8th house, especially Jupiter entering Gemini. I should make a prediction about what divorces we will see and what custody battles and things we should see if anyone has Jupiter in the 8th house. So I'm gonna write that down because I'm gonna wait to predict that. I don't usually do predictions, but gotta make a bubble around this motherfucker. This is a big old thought bubble. Big old thought bubble. Oh yeah, Jupiter. Oh, Jupiter in the 8th house. You know what I'm saying? Utilizing 10th house to be more career oriented. You know, it is in fall here, so it's asleep. But also, this is a manipulation tactic for you. That's the square house and your personal individuality and where you're being independent. Be independent in the area that you like. It helps the humanity so that you have the space to be independent in at the top where you're not doing no shady shit. Aries, you know what I'm saying, or Scorpio manipulating the things behind closed doors and detriment in the 3rd house. You know what I'm saying, using your environment, using people, places, and things like where you can have small debts like toll roads or parking spaces, but shared resources with people that you share land with. Somebody suddenly starts to move, city needs to do some work on the town. Now you need to know where your property line ends, things of that nature. Venus is already in detriment here, so you guys are well aware of that detriment space. I explained that. But we cover it again. Utilize that 12th house where it's fall. Utilize your dreams and imaginations to, it's like the opposition of becoming grounded, like the opposition of Scorpio's Taurus, being too grounded and separated from the intensity of your own emotions, having more power and control. But you need to exude that into this 12th house where it's the 6th house, because Taurus can work with dreams and imaginations to bring them down. So when you bring them down, it's not even making them superficial level. It's going as above, so below, expanding outwardly in your subconscious mind so far into the 12th house where you have that public space and that platform to be able to be deep, because you don't really have to be anchored to anything. You don't really, there's nothing much to destroy that's on a technical level. And then Venus, you're falling here, so Venus, you're also exalted in 8th house. What am I talking about? Venus. Jupiter in the 8th house. Yeah, the exaltation. So that's a hyperactive energy you can use. Detriment in the 3rd house. In your environment, you need to go deep within people, places, and things. Even if you have to start small, even if you have to start slow. I talked about divorce, and I talked about it's already in fall, in here in this space. So Jupiter in the 9th house. You are at home here. You know what I'm saying? I have Jupiter in the 9th. Actually, I don't. Jupiter was in Taurus, was in my 9th house. So Jupiter was at home for that brief period. Now it's away, in detriment again. So I had that home energy, but now I can learn more how to expand on my status and reputation and doing this and what works for me and what doesn't. Jupiter in and you utilize your 4th house. You know what I'm saying? Things that you expand and gain higher education on are things that you are rooted in. So that way you're not seeing or coming across as overall like Uranus energy coming across too rebellious and revolutionary. It's just your education path is aligning in a linear, non frictiony plane. You know what I'm saying? What you do is how you do it, and it's how it's being seen. And so then you have Jupiter in the falling in the 10th house, and the next step when it gets out there is home. You know, so you go from home to work. That's where not that's the 10th house, but you're going to sleep, and once you leave the house, your energy's drained. You're not in your comfort zone. But just keep the ideas, communicating the ideas of traveling and your status and your reputation via your higher education, your higher moral system, and your religion, and you'll be squared away. And then the detriment. The further it gets, I think, the further it is, the closer the planet is to its detriment, the more you use the its home planet, and the closer it is to its home planet, the more you use the detriment. Something in my neck. The more you use the detriment. And Venus is exalted in the 12th house, utilizing your dreams and imagination. Another sextile, already explained to shields what detriment is. I mean, what sextile is. So in reverse, this is Capricorn. So you are expanding your readings and reasoning. And Venus, you utilize your 12th house on your imaginations, your dream imaginations, and how that applies to the collective love, collective consciousness, collective mind. Utilizing your environment to seek wisdoms that you can expand upon. Wisdoms that need to be taken to not just a higher level, but need to be broadened out and made more aware, because the broader you connect to something, the broader you can connect the world. Teamwork makes the dream work. Jupiter in the 10th house is falling here, it's asleep, you know what I'm saying? You're really kind of washed up. No, I ain't gonna cap, you know what I'm saying? You kind of washed up in your public image, your reputation, what's moral, what you think the people want to see, especially in Gemini, what you think the people want to see, what you think the people want to hear, what you think that people are going to appreciate, the ideas about your reputation, that people think that they fall in love with your public image, what they do for a short time until it gets more intimate into the deep stuff. Then you have to go and rely on that 4th house and find out why the fuck you're so fucked up in your 4th house, that you're so obsessed. Were you forced to go to college? Did you have to have straight A's? Did you have to motherfucking be on varsity? How much pressure was there? In the 3rd house, you know what I'm saying? Where did that come from in your environment? Who did you put your people, places, things around? I said, who did you put your people around? Yeah, because the birds of a feather flock together, and then so the people that you put them around, man, what? You motherfucking guessed it for sure. No cap. And then Jupiter, and then Venus here in the 10th house. You gotta recognize your dreams and imagination. You're appreciating how you're relating with others for real, on that basis of your career and to your status, how you imagine yourself to be. Like, okay, people have a reputation for you. Do they have a reputation for the practical stuff? Like, okay, sure, you got your name on some papers. You got your names on a bunch of contracts. You got your names on a bunch of buildings. But do you got your names in my imagination? Do I got your reputation of what people talk about, your ambition, your zealousness, and your imagination, your ambition? Are people talking about that now? Or does that know? Or does that know? That's all we want to know. And you got Venus. Yeah, imaginations. Venus is in detriment in the 8th and the 9th, and the 8th and the 1st house. This is detriment because 1st house, you learn how to put your image behind something, to push something, to express something, to exercise something. I say exercise because it's Aries. Exercise, you know what I'm saying? Externalizing, you know what I'm saying? Getting the energy out there for yourself, and to be independent. And to be independent, you have to have not a dependency, but you have to have a awareness of that. And you say you're not giving a fuck, you're going to not just rebel, you're rebelling against that cause, but you're going to do something completely different that's going to add to that, and it's going to expand to that. But for no reason is it going to expand to that. Somebody else is going to add meanings and reasons to that, for real. So that's the first 8th house detriment wisdom that you're going to learn. You're utilizing those houses. And exaltation. The opposition. You know. I explained that already. But in Venus, you got the eighth of first house, and you got the fall in the sixth house. So it's a trine house. You still got the routines and patterns, and although that's the slips there, wake these motherfucking things up. Wake these habits and routine, because there's nothing more authentic to people in the public space or image than someone that's down to earth, someone that's in a routine, someone that doesn't seem like they have anything to hide. And that seems like the least thing to hide if you're going to be the least suspicious person is you have routines. You have discipline. You have things of that nature. And Jupiter in the 11th house. Fluffy mushroom. Hold on, y'all. We got this guy. Hey, go ahead, spam. The amount of energy you're spamming is the amount of energy I'm transmuting. All I'm seeing is your lungs will become ash. Yours? Yours? Your lungs will become ash? Your yes, they will. Your lungs will become ash. Your lungs. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Get these bots up. Yeah, hold on, bro. Should I remove them or should I put them in timeout? I'm removing them. Do I have to do that for every single one? I should add you as a moderator. Do I have to do this for every single one? No, fuck that. I want to remove him. There we go. Okay. He's out of here. Jupiter in the 11th house. Jupiter in the 11th house. You're expanding on your associations. You are adding meanings, reasons, and expanding on how we're associated and how this will work for the greater collective, especially in your 4th house, because you're not just in your status and reputation of a family heritage. You're expanding knowledge and awareness to associations, to you're rubbing shoulders and elbows with people that have families, and y'all are relating based off of, okay, I have families too. So your roots and travels are what your technology, what you're associated to, what you're into. Exaltation, going too far in that energy is as over identifying your home and your roots with the people, places, and things. For that, you need to utilize your 10th house to where you're not just compromising your protection, your protective hedge, your godly, blessed, divine connection for the sake of a status and a reputation, because you think these people rock with you on the personal level. They rock with you because your name is on the piece of paper. And then you got Jupiter in the 3rd house, and like you have people in your environment that are your neighbors that know you like this. These people are far traveled out and far expensive, have different backgrounds and stuff like that. That's why it's just rubbing shoulders and not over identifying with Jupiter in the 11th house. Venus in the 11th house, you're utilizing your 12th house, your dreams and imaginations that come from your associations, that come from your expectations on the visual connection that you get from these people. And then Your detriment, the sixth house, your routines and patterns, you can't really follow your routines. You're innovative. This the Aquarius house. You're being innovative. You're being original and authentic. You know what I'm saying? With your routines and patterns, you're predictably unpredictable. You have means and reasons and strong, more vast intellect connected to that sixth house energy than you do the other energy. And then the fall in the Venus's fall in the eighth and the first. Venus detriment in the eighth and the first house with your individuality and your way of expression and your deep and your shared resources. And then the fall, the sixth house is what I just addressed. Jupiter in the 12th house, the lower octave of Jupiter in Sagittarius, the expansive house. You utilizing your dreams and imaginations to expand on a broader perspective, and it's where it's at home. You utilizing your exaltation, where you had your imaginations as a little kid. You know what I'm saying? Growing up into a bigger kid, having that energy of that inner child expanding, and having a higher education that you seek. When everyone tells you, remember that video I made about what you do, what you want to be when you grow up, it's how you want to be when you grow up, how you want to manifest, how you see your plans coming together, because the what you want to be is just a projected image from society painting the picture for you of something that you should obtain, be it just reverse psychology and witchcraft for real. So it ain't what you want to be, it's how you want to be it. What are the attributes? Not even just the what. How are you developing attributes? How are you developing manifestation rituals that are gonna get you to that goal? You know what I'm saying? So that's where that fall from that 10th house. You know what I'm saying? Being asleep, wake your ass up with your public perception and the people that are in charge, and develop your own public perception and status from the people that's in charge and things of that nature. Even with the detriment in the 3rd house, you know what I'm saying? Be relatable to your environment. Imagine your collective community looking at you and holding things together and holding things down for you in that perspective, if you got what I'm saying for real. And you got Venus here at Exaltation is at home. It loves to be here. You're expanding on that, so you already have that house there. You're having a more appreciative and valuable system towards the things, the shared resources, and you imagine it and going with the flow on how these shared resources can be less rigid and how your personality can be less personal. You know what I'm saying? On the egotistical measure, having the higher octave safety, spiritual nature, and adaptability. And I said the detriment, I said the fall, being asleep, utilizing routine and patterns so that you can track your imagination, track how you can get in that energy, track how you can get into that vibe over again in those times of period. You know what I'm saying? And that concludes the live. I thank y'all for joining me and tuning in. I really appreciate y'all being here. Peace.